It's uncommon for me to sell out of positions, but this week I sold out of 2 positions and doubled down on 2 more. If you want to see how this impacted my portfolio, stay tuned. Hey everybody, Kevin Burgess back yet again with another video. You hear me talk a lot on this channel about personal freedom, and personal freedom for me is to be able to do the things that are meaningful to me and that add value to others. And as a part of that journey, I open my portfolio up to you transparently. So you'll see my portfolio each week and see how the market has impacted it, what dividends I've gotten, and things along those lines. I think this is important, not so that you will do what I do, but just so you can see how to stay engaged and how to stay invested in the market and how to even sometimes go against emotions because as people are running away from stocks, sometimes we are to run to them. So on this channel, I share with you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and I appreciate you being on the journey with me. So if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm not an investing professional. I'm simply opening up my portfolio to let you walk with me through this process so you can see what stocks I'm buying, what stocks I'm selling, what dividends I'm getting all along the way. And I think it's important to be totally transparent with you. So that's why I open up the whole portfolio with you. This week I sold out of 2 positions and I doubled down on a couple of others. We're going to go through that in detail. So today we're going to walk through the activity in the portfolio for the week, and at the end I'm going to scroll through the portfolio. So with that, let's get started. So the portfolio balance at the end of the week of April 1st was $832,439.38. It's up about $412 on the week. Of this, $346 is related to dividends. And I put in $7,300 into the dividend yield portfolio. You will also notice that there were no closed options positions this week. I've decided to back off of options while the market is a little bit volatile and unpredictable. And so if it's a little more predictable, it's easier to make some options transactions. But at this point, I'm going to back away from those and wait for the waters to smooth out a little bit. So if you back out the $346 for dividends and the $7,300 that I put into the account, I actually have a loss this week of $7,233.95. While we know this is not a realized loss, it's unrealized, but most of that's occurring in the dividend growth account. And we'll walk through at the end my entire portfolio so you can see where that's coming from. Also on the market change, we are down 0.9%, while the S&P 500 is up 0.1, which means we've lost 1% of ground on the S&P 500. But overall, you can see in the bottom here that the S&P is down year to date by 4.7. We are up by 2.5. So we are about 7.2% better at this point than the S&P 500. On the year-to-date basis, the portfolio is up $75,298, while of that, dividends are $6,377.93, options were $423, and funding, I put in about $49,700 into the dividend yield account thus far this year, which leaves us with a gain of $18,797.58 that is related to the market change. And that equates to a 2.5% increase. In the yield portfolio, I didn't buy anything this week or I didn't sell anything this week. The cash reserve for secured puts is 0. As I mentioned, I'm staying away from options at the moment. And then the cash available to invest is $17,742. So in next week's video, you will see some purchases in the yield portfolio. I will warn you ahead of time that I'm going to not only purchase shares in the positions that I currently have, but I'm adding 2 positions next week, and I will do a video on both of those stocks. So I'll tease that and do a video on those two stocks separately. So open options position, I only have one open option, and that is a covered call for New Jersey Resources with a strike price of $45. New Jersey Resources is currently trading around $47 and some change. So this is certainly underwater, and I may just allow this to get assigned here in a couple of weeks if it hasn't come back down, because it may not be profitable to roll it. So if it's not profitable to roll it, I will just let these get assigned and maybe come back to this stock at a later time when it's back to a reasonable price. In terms of dividends received in the yield portfolio, I got two this week. One was from Main Street Capital for $30 on March the 30th. That is a special dividend for Main Street Capital. You can see here on March 15th, we got the $86 normal monthly dividend from Main Street Capital. It is my only monthly dividend at this point. But we got a special dividend on March the 30th for $30. So we got 30 on the 30th. So that's good. On April the 1st, we got a dividend from New Jersey Resources for $36.25. Now in the growth portfolio, this is where some activity occurred this week. I bought additional shares of Stanley Black & Decker and Whirlpool. Now I've done a video on Whirlpool that I will put on the end screen. I've also done one here on Cummins. You can see earlier in the month I bought some shares of Cummins. So I'll put both of those on the end screen at the end of this video if you're interested in seeing those. I also bought 100 shares of Stanley Black & Decker, and I plan to do a video on it soon. I think it's a stock that has been beaten down. Is it at its bottom? I don't know. But I think in the long run, both Stanley Black & Decker and Whirlpool are in really good value territory. So I'm comfortable buying those at this point. They may continue to go down. They may go back up. Who knows in the short run? But in the long run, I think these are really good investments for my portfolio. In order to make some cash available to buy these shares, I sold out of Snap-on and Tyson. And both of these are fine stocks. I don't have anything against either one of them, but I needed some room to be able to add some of these heavily discounted stocks. And these stocks, I don't see a tremendous amount of upside in the future. I could be wrong, but I don't see a tremendous amount of upside. So I backed out of those and added shares of Whirlpool and Stanley Black & Decker. I still have $17,742 left to invest, and I will keep my eyes open for any potential targets for that. In terms of dividend in the growth portfolio, we got two this past week. One was from EOG Resources on March the 29th for $203.62. The other one is from Pepsi, $76.25. Now, my plans for this week, I want to look for some deeply discounted growth opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, for that $17,000 to invest in. I may or may not find it this week, and if I don't find it, that's okay. I'll just hold on to the cash. But if I do find it, I will invest that. The second thing is regarding options, I'm just going to stay on the sidelines for a bit until the market becomes a little less volatile, maybe a little more predictable within a certain range, especially for the stocks that I like to do options on. And in the yield portfolio, I do plan to make a purchase this week. I have some cash sitting there, and I'd like to be able to get that invested. With the target hopefully being that I will reach a milestone of $1,000 per month in dividends from just the yield portfolio, because that is the portfolio that I'm using to supplement my income. And I haven't walked through my portfolio in a while, so I thought I would go ahead and do that just so you can see the balance is $832,440, and I'm using Simply Safe Dividends to track my portfolio here. The annual income is $24,500. You can see that the yield portfolio is $10,156. I'm targeting to get this value at $12,000, which is roughly $1,000 a month. And so hopefully in the next video, I'll be able to share with you that I've gotten that accomplished this week. So moving back then to my total portfolio, you can see, a lot of stuff is going on here, but the dividend yield overall is 2.94%. The yield on cost is 3.3%, and my beta is 0.7. I won't go through all of this diversification and all of that. I've done that before. But let's go in and sort this in descending order. So you can see my largest holding is Cummins. I am down 5% on that at this point. If it drops into, below $200, I'll consider adding more shares to that. My purchase or my cost overall has been $212. Lockheed Martin has been a great stock, especially during this time of geopolitical uncertainty. And I'm up about almost 29% on Lockheed Martin. Whirlpool, I mentioned that I bought some shares of that this week. And still, even with averaging down, it's down 15% overall. My cost is $202. It's currently sitting around $172. So I may even add some more to that position here soon. Johnson & Johnson is 6.8% gain, and it's sitting at about 5% of my portfolio. So I'm happy with Johnson & Johnson where it is. Microsoft, I'm up about 6% on it. And Texas Instruments, I'm up almost 5% there. Pinnacle West has been a great stock for me. It's up 12.3%. I have it really for the dividend. My yield on cost is currently 4.8%, but the current yield is about 4.3%. So the stock has been increasing here lately. Stanley Black & Decker, you can see the position I have here. I have about 160 shares of Stanley Black & Decker. It is down 12.5%, about 3% of my portfolio. I do plan to add shares to this. Not sure exactly when I'll do that, but looking for dips here again to add and make this a bigger part of my portfolio at these low prices. Chevron, huge gain there, 48% overall, 170 shares. Verizon is almost break even. It's down 1.8%. It is about 3% of my portfolio. You can see Aflac is up 21%. Comcast, I've done a video on that, but I'm looking actually for that to come back at some point, and I will unload it. But we're currently down about 14.5% there. Air Products is down 6%. EOG Resources couldn't be any happier with this stock. It's raised its dividend dramatically. My yield on cost on this stock is nearly 3.6%. I'm up 43.6% on it year to date. It is growing its dividend at a very fast pace. So I've been really happy with EOG Resources. Atmos Energy is up 30%, 32%. General Dynamics is up 25%. Prudential's up 10%. IBM is about break even. Best Buy went down this week, and so I'm down about 9% on it. I was about break even last week. So I'm going to hold on to Best Buy for a while. I'm not sure if I'll add to this position or not. I'm not big on retail stocks, but this was so beaten down, I couldn't resist buying a few shares of it. Hess Midstream is up 19%. There's a lot of Hess in the news this week, and I may do a video on that too. It'd be too long of a discussion to do on this video, but I may actually add some shares for the first time in a while to Hess this week. They're sitting at around $30 per share. And I will let you see the rest of these. I'm not going to talk through these. Maybe AbbVie I will. AbbVie is a pharmaceutical. Their big drug is Humira, which is coming off of patent in 2023. I bought into that. You can see that my cost per share is around 110, and it's currently trading at around 162. So we're up about 48%. I am not adding any AbbVie at this point. My yield on cost is 5.1%. Current yield is 3.5%. So I consider it a yield stock, and therefore with a 3.5% yield, I'm not adding any AbbVie at this point. And you can see also here, New Jersey Resources, we're up about 19% on it. It's at $47.17 with a cost of $39.74. However, if those options do get assigned, I would sell it for 45. So this is a bit misleading. It's not going to be 18.7% unless I can do something with those options. So that's it for the portfolio update this week. I do plan to have several videos coming out on analyses for different stocks like Stanley Black & Decker and these two that I'm going to add to my yield portfolio this week. So I'm looking forward to see where the market goes this week because I may do some more tweaks from a long-term perspective that will set me up for success. And hopefully for your portfolio, you're doing something very similar where you've got a due diligence process and you're assessing stocks and whether they fit into your portfolio or not and making decisions based on that. None of us have the crystal ball. None of us are perfect in this process, but I think it's helpful to be transparent with my portfolio. If you got any questions or anything that you'd like to see more from me, certainly give me some feedback in the comments below. I'm always open for that. I'm looking forward to the next few videos where I may do some stock analyses for you so that you can see how I look at stocks and what criteria I use. So with that, I will see you on the next video.